Well, a federal investigation, a very proud moment for you all, I'm sure. And let's keep in mind that this investigation is not limited to Mr. Wiley. The investigation extends through the current day, the current board, and the current administration. All the figures and facts that they ask for go to the current administration. It's worth mentioning that there's a plaque honoring Lawrence Wiley in all Lincoln Way schools, and it states, quote, "Your example of servant leadership will continue in the culture of the district you have stewarded so capably. Thank you, Larry." Has any of the brain trust here thought it might be a good idea to remove those plaques? What kind of message does that send to the kids? You guys, come on. Perhaps, well, a realistic one, because Larry's leadership has indeed continued in the culture of the Lincoln Way administration. I think we can all agree to that. Yep. One of the biggest problems of this board and administration is lack of humility. You each think you're smarter and wiser than every person in this room, and let me tell you without hesitation, you're not. The people in this room did your job. They uncovered all the crap going on with this district, past and present. They, along with some real journalism from Tribune reporter Greg Pratt and exposés from the Edgar County watchdogs, finally brought to light all the district's little secrets. In fact, when you don't know what you're doing, probably the worst thing to do is to pretend that you do. Mr. Tingley, anyone who saw you at the Finance Committee can see that you do not know what you are doing with financial issues. Maybe you're a great educator. Seriously, everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses. Maybe you're a great educator, and maybe you're great with your teachers. I don't know, and frankly, I don't care, because your days here are numbered.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that you don't understand financial matters. So in your remaining time here, why not try something new and listen to the people who do? In addition to ignoring the agenda request, which someone else already brought up, you have similarly ignored the Nancy situation, which in and of itself can be an entire speech. But let's take one slice of that, summer camp. We all pay for athletic camps at school, or music camps, and that money goes to the school. How about Aunt Nancy's summer camps? Where does that money go? How is this any different than Superdog? They're both private, for-profit businesses using Lincoln Way facilities for free. And it is not our job as taxpayers to subsidize Nancy Power's business so she can afford her $500,000 home. I'm sorry. Taxpayers do not fund daycare for teachers, period. And frankly, the teachers already are paying beyond market rates for this daycare facility, so nobody's getting a bargain, except Nancy Powers herself. With the rampant culture of haughtiness that has continued without interruption from Mr. Wiley through to his protege, Mr. Tingley, everyone claims to put the children first, and let me provide you a few examples where that has not been the case. After the last board meeting, when an incredibly bright and articulate student, Nick Forlenza, delivered a heartfelt speech about losing his school, when parents called for Mr. Tingley's resignation, listing all of his inappropriate and potentially illegal activities, one by one, and called him out for lack of performance, what does he do? Can anyone guess what he did after the meeting? Well, I can tell you, he went out to a bar across the street, laughing, talking, whooping it up with his staff, including his new PR person. Pretty bad optics, I would say. I mean, I know it's not illegal, there's nothing wrong with going out for a drink with your staff, I do the same. But after that emotional meeting, that is what you choose to do? Come on! Where is your soul? Taryn, you were a PR person. Did you think that was good PR to go across the street after that board meeting and be seen joking and laughing at a bar? Maybe you need to go back to college and retake PR 101. What does this say to the students and the community of how seriously you take any of this? All of us doing all this, spending all this time coming up here talking, doing all this research. What does that say to us? And do you think Nick heard from Mr. Tingley anytime after that speech?
1 minute left.
No. And other examples, Lincoln Way North girls basketball team. Parents and students were keenly aware that Mr. Tingley was sitting at one of the games on the opposite side of the Phoenix gym with fans from the opposing team that one of his relatives coaches, not cheering on our school. Wow. On the bright side, it gave the Phoenix girls a little extra reason to win that game. It gave them a little spark. So thank you. But don't give us this line of crap that you care about the students. My specific request in closing, I know this will fall on deaf ears, but remove Wiley's protege, Mr. Tingley, from his position. He is in so far over his head. He can't breathe. He's not the person to lead us out of this disaster. Hire a new transitional superintendent with experience in crisis situations who can establish new processes and rebuild, and then hire a permanent superintendent. Forge a darn contract with Aunt Nancy's, for heaven's sakes. Include rent. tragedy of closing the 8-year-old school that we have been able to afford this entire year, ironically, your watchdogs have been keeping tabs on spending. We are not far from the enrollment figures at East that justify the need for North to begin with.
Amen.
So if you close North and East overcrowding results, I'm almost done. East overcrowding results in hallway fights and overcrowding again. You're going to unleash a hell that you don't know existed from this community. We are not going to stand by and pay for an empty school with all the overcrowding. My sincere hope
Freedom of speech.
wide awake and knowing exactly what
Do you pay attention to anything other than the clock?
Wow, that's a good